We'll go on ahead and get this started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the most recent edition of the Southwestern District Leadership Training Online Training Series. Today's presenter is Rocky Willett. Rocky is a 28-year member of the Barbershop Harmony Society and sings with the vocal majority. His quartet Sentimental Journey is now in their 25th year. Rocky's background in public relations comes from his experience as an Air Force and Public Relations Officer, where he was chief of the Public Affairs Division at Laughlin Air Force Base in Del Rio, Texas. He was on the Southwestern District Board of Directors from 2013 to 2015, and it rejoined again in 2018 and currently serves as the Director of Marketing and PR. Rocky, thanks for joining us. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And just so you know, it's now 31 years. How do you like that? 31 years I've been in this crazy outfit. And I had a 7-year gap when I traveled around in the Air Force, but hey, that's another story. But thank you for joining us, guys, this morning. And I came from the Leadership Summit that was held back in January and had some really good information, and I want to share that with you. But first, let me share my screen here and get to my slideshow, if I can find it. Yes, that's the end. Hang on a second. All right, can y'all see this? You can see the whole thing from top to bottom, side to side?
Yep. Looks good. Some examples. We're good to go.
All right, so this is where I want to start. Thank you for joining us. And basically the title of this session is called Working with Local Media. But before we really get into it, our last session was back in September when we talked about how to make a press release. So I want to just kind of review that real quick here. There are 7 things that you want to have when you write a press release. And like it says here, for immediate release, contact info, headline, dateline, the lead paragraph, text, and a recap. Those 7 basic elements every press release should have. And so, of course, you want to have at the very top, centered in the top, or actually it says here in the upper left-hand margin, just under your letterhead, capitalize all those words. And then the contact information, of course, they got to know who to get a hold of. And I'm not going to read all the words in the paragraph there to you, but I noticed that it says right under here, give your home number, okay? Because some of these media folks, they may not be able to contact you during the regular business times. And that happened to me once, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit later. Got to have a headline. If you're good at doing crossword puzzles, you'll be good at doing headlines. Otherwise, just write something short and succinct, 4 or 5, maybe 6 words, and see if it's something that can grab their attention. Use a bold-faced type, as it says there, and then you got to put the date line, your town, your city, the month, day, and year, and then the lead paragraph. Can y'all see the bottom of that? This bottom line here.
I can see a lead paragraph where it ends with who, what, when, where, and why.
Okay, good. And that's the lead paragraph should only be about 25 to 30 words, and it needs to answer all those questions there. Who, or most of them, who, what, when, where, and why. All right, and then of course the text, that's where you put in all the details, and there are transitions and tiebacks and all that kind of stuff that go in there as well. And then at like it says, the lower left-hand corner of your last page, restate information about your event and the date. And just for another review, here's those 7 things again. And I'm making a little sheet that I can send out to y'all once we're done here, a little while after we're done, with all this information on it again, so you don't have to try to memorize it here. Okay, now let's get into working with local media. And guys, I am unabashedly copying directly from the presentation that I got, or that I saw at the Leadership Summit. So because it was such good ideas that I didn't feel like I could really improve on them. And I'm just going to kind of show you some of the experiences I've had. Okay, first off, yes, I'm getting over a cold. Like it says here, we're better known than we know. And our message is hope in a weary world. Barbershop is what we do, and harmony is who we are. And if people don't need to hear that now, man, I can't think of any better time than now. Okay, so today's topics are going to include why we want to get famous and transmit our core messages. Another is what and when, how you focus on the event, and then the kind of stories that you can tell. And also the who and the how. That's logistics and some tools and resources that I have at the end here. Okay, so why? Why are we doing this? Well, we want to get famous. Why get famous? First off, it feels good. Like it says here, mom deserves to see your picture in the paper or on TV or whatever. Your quartet, your chorus doing their thing. Also, it's talking about on mission to preserve that old American institution, the barbershop quartet and barbershop harmony. And let's not dwell on the word old, but maybe institution, okay? And then, of course, our vision, everyone in harmony. And that, especially in the last couple of years, has really come to light with people, with the mixed quartets and the mixed choruses and all of that. I'm really glad to see all that coming to light now. So let's talk about how we get from visibility to action, okay? First off, we have to establish some basic awareness. Barbershop does indeed live, and it's in our community. It's got nothing to do with hair, or as y'all well know, 4 guys in boater hats and striped vests standing around a lamppost trying to sing in tune. What we want to do is make a positive impression because the music is great. Those of us who have been doing it for a while, we know. The people are great too, and it's diverse across age, gender, and race and everything. Looks like me. You know, there's no particular ethnic group or gender or anything like that when it comes to barbershopping. Also, if you're all ready to act, well, let's read on here, okay? Because people's actions lead to our benefits. Get them out there to see a show, or maybe book a performance for yourself. Book a singing Valentine, okay? So that gives you a chance to perform and earn. But the people out there, get them to join a chorus or start a new chorus, a quartet or other group, or volunteer, like it says, to gain singers. Another reason we do this is to enhance relationships, reach new audience segments, and gain efficiencies via shared service, building partnerships within our communities. And the last thing is, and I'm having a little trouble reading it because how do you minimize these things over here? Hide thumbnail video. That's how you do it. Okay, let me go back. Outreach and support of music education, local philanthropy, and service. And so we're serving the community as well as entertaining them. And so 3 messages for each of our stories. Barbershop is easy. Can y'all still see me? I just got a message saying my internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, no, we're still good.
Okay. Barbershop is fun. You can do this too. And of course, we all know this, but here's how we tell the folks about it. Barbershop is easy. It's easy to start, and we all know it's hard to perfect. Easy to sing a tag, easy to sing in a chorus compared to singing in a quartet, and it's easy to learn. We'll help you. We have peer-to-peer, champs teaching each other, the learning tracks, which are a tremendous invention, all those kinds of things. And once you get around to learning it, excuse me, I got to take a drink of water. It's fun, the collaboration, the shared purpose, the shared effort. You get immediate rewards and long-term rewards. How many friends have y'all made in your barbershop chorus, in the regular barbershop community that maybe you might not have met otherwise? And we all know that when we get into the songs and we put our hearts into it, we get this emotional bond and a little bit of vulnerability. And of course, there's some celebration. And, you know, I don't think people understand that all this goes on within our rehearsals and within our performances. And once we convince them that, yes, indeed, these sort of things do happen, we let them know you can do this too. Everywhere from trained singers and first timers, you know, that old joke, half the men in our chorus, or actually, I can't say men anymore, half the people in our chorus can't read music and the other half can't read at all. You know, that's a good joke, I think. Singers of all ages, men, women, and mixed. And we can teach you to sing in under a minute. You know, some of those tags have only 1 or 2 notes, and there you are. They're singing with you. Once, about 2 years ago at Fall Convention, the security guard that I'd hired to guard the vendors area overnight, he'd never heard of this before, and he probably was sorry he mentioned that, because we gathered around him, about 4 or 5 guys, and started teaching him tags. You know, I'm not sure when he got around to doing his actual guarding duties, but he has come back. He has wanted to come back ever since then. I'm still trying to get him to join a course, but teach you to sing in under a minute. Okay, so say these 3 things every time. Barbershop is easy. Barbershop is fun. You can do this too. So what and when? Telling a story about your chorus or individuals or quartets or whatever within your chorus. Storytelling 1, 2, 3. First off, it's about people. Notice we have crossed out there, get me some free promo. That's not going to get you anything except, email messages that are not returned, and voice messages that are not returned. But have a great story about people making a difference, you know, because this human interest type of thing grabs attention. Next, news works on deadlines. And you've heard the expression, oh, it must be a slow news day, that sort of thing. But they have to get their stuff together. Their reporters, both on printed and in broadcast, they have to have their stuff together, ready to go by a certain time of day. And if you get too close to that or too far away from it, well, they're going to ignore you. But what this means, actionable means relevant. The thing that you want to give them is something that's relevant to maybe what's happening, say like Mayfest here in Fort Worth. If your group is going to sing at some sort of community event like that coming up, that would be relevant. The urgency and timeliness, and that all rewards attention, because all of this stuff happens in a certain amount of time. But the thing is, you need to support your stories with pictures and sounds. And y'all all know, nobody reads anymore. They just skim. And as a technical writer, I cringe when I say that, but that's just true anymore. But pictures grab eyes, and that supporting sizzle is what holds people's attention. All right, so how do we get around to doing this? First off, you got to have a hook, and there's a list of them there. Human interest, milestones, you know, hey, this is our 30th anniversary, you know, that sort of thing. But I want to point out the question at the bottom there. What are the story options in your chapter or chorus? And it's got to be timely. You have an upcoming show. Is this your first, your last anniversary? You can see the list here. I don't want to read the slides to you, but the thing is, why is it important now? Why should the media be interested in what you have to offer right this second? But then when you finally do get the story together and you're ready to give it to your media person, you want to have the supports, great photos, great video, maybe some additional testimonials or quotes. But here's something: when you're trying to promote something, it doesn't have to be of your group. You know, what I mean is, you can have a picture of another quartet or another chorus when you're just trying to promote something. Okay, now you probably don't want to do that if you're saying, okay, here's the Marksman's show coming up, and you show a picture of the San Antonio chorus or the vocal majority or somebody like that. Okay, but here's what I mean. Okay, I'll just take a look at this slide for a second. So we have this quartet here. Anybody recognize this quartet? And something else about them is, yes, they are dressed in matching outfits, but it's not the stereotype that you see from what people might think of a barbershop quartet. And it looks pretty contemporary. And these guys, they look like they're having a good time. Okay, now this was an article, as you can see, that was posted back last summer by the BHS. Okay, but it says, like, this is a listicle, give you surprise and delight. You know, you guys can read this stuff on the side here, but it has to be timely with positive benefits, and then this dynamic photo and video. Looks good. This is a good looking photo. There's some action going on there. You know, it's a lot of quartets, they don't they don't do a lot when they're standing there singing. You kind of have to catch them at a good moment. This is a pretty good moment for this particular quartet. And once again, it says it doesn't have to be your group when you're promoting something that you want people to come to. Now, if you want to discuss that, doesn't have to be your group. We can do this a little bit later. Okay, who and how? How do you get it done? Pitching it to the right person. First off, do you know of a specific reporter or producer at a newspaper or at a TV show? Somebody on the arts beat, human interest, local happenings, or maybe the guy who did theater in high school who is working over at the TV station now, and he's a cameraman, something like that, you know. Another thing is the assignment editors. And these are the people that, as it says there, they consider the story pitches. They assign stories to available reporters. They know the gaps that need to be filled. So if you can get in touch with the assignment editor, they might be able to throw your story to the right person. So why do you want to do all that? First off, make their job easier. Give them some advance notice. And this is something I thought was interesting. Start about 3 weeks out. And I asked the lady giving this presentation, and I said, what makes you think 3 weeks is the magic number? And she said, well, that's just based on my experience, about 3 weeks out. But the way the news cycles are, that's about right. They're trying to look for stuff to keep them busy. And I'm talking, I guess I'm thinking more of TV reporters right now. What kind of story can I be able to pull up that'll keep the story wagon rolling here for this news station? Okay, so you get on their radar, but they're likely not to contact you until 5 to 10 days out. And I have a story to share about that that I'll tell a little bit later here. So start with a phone call. Now that might seem a little counterintuitive, you know, because email and text is everything. But yeah, give them a call. Find their name and their number. Give them a call. They may not answer the call directly, but be sure you leave a voice message, and then follow up with an email. And if you haven't heard back from them for a few days, go ahead and ping them again, as a friend of mine used to say. But don't be a pest, because they have things that are ongoing. And so it's like, don't be the squeaky wheel, but also don't be completely silent. And when you do get in touch with this person, have all the information. And that first bullet there, write the story for them. You know, now you don't know their style or anything like that, but I've kind of given you an outline of how to put together a press release. And at least the information is all organized there, and they'll be able to use that in their particular style. So just go ahead and give them the whole story. Get your contact info and stay focused. Remember, it's their aim, not yours. You know, you might be thinking, well, we got to sell tickets for this show, but you got to think, okay, what's the human interest angle? What's the community service angle that might interest this particular news person that for our particular performance that's coming up? And I guess it doesn't have to be a show coming up. What if you have been invited to sing at a Memorial Day celebration or a July 4th celebration? Those are the kinds of events that people want to, that's human interest, and they want to put those kinds of things to show how, and when I say they, I'm talking about the media pukes, yes. They want to be able to show the community that they're, yes, indeed, we're interested in what you have going on out there. Oh, by the way, did you see this over here that this fine group of gentlemen are coming to sing for? Okay, I think I'm rambling now, so let's move to the next slide. Here's some examples now. Now I'm going to click this link here, okay? And this goes to the website for my particular quartet. And I'm going to scroll down here. And I'm just going to click right here and let it play. You won't be able to hear it, so I just want to explain what's going on.
Rocky, right now we're still seeing your presentation that says some examples. You may want to go out of presentation mode to be able to show that.
Okay. Let's see. Stop share.
Oh,
wait, no, I know what you mean. Stand by. Is that better?
Now we see your PowerPoint right now with the Southwestern District logo.
Still seeing it?
Yeah, still seeing the PowerPoint. There we go.
Okay.
Now we got sentiment. Nice gray suits. I used to have one just like it.
Okay. All right. So this was from the local Fort Worth Star Telegram, and Mike, I know you probably remember this. Excuse me, I got to get a drink here. You probably remember when this happened. It was a little over 10 years ago now. This particular reporter, David Cass Stevens, I'm not sure how he got the word that this was back when we were still the Texas Millionaires, but how he heard about our singing Valentines. But he contacted somebody in the chorus, and they contacted me, and I contacted him, and he said, "Well, I want to cover your chorus as they deliver these singing Valentines." And I guess he picked my particular quartet, which I'm grateful for. I hope other people aren't jealous about that. But anyway, not only did he write this article that you see scrolling down here, but they also had a videographer follow us. And I know y'all can't hear this.
It's a fundraiser, and it's one of several that we have in the year.
We
this will be my
quartet's
quartet's
15th
year
who's our lead,
to do
that's
this.
Doug.
We
That's
never
me
get
talking
tired
about
of
how it's a fundraiser and you never get tired of it. And this is Doug's mom, and we were giving her a singing Valentine.
Years, I know, years.
And it was really cool. And they intercut different shots. We went to 2 or 3 different places. They intercut different shots. It was a pretty good promo. See, here's another singing Valentine, as it says there. Okay, so I know y'all can't hear that, so that's going to be boring. I'm going to scroll up here, but David Cass Stevens, who later joined the chorus. And Mike, I don't know if he's still with y'all or not, but he kind of retired from the Star Telegram and joined the chorus. Anyway, this is a pretty long article, and it started on one page in the life section, and it skipped to another page. So he wrote a lot, and there's some quotes in here, not just from our quartet, but from the chorus. So I thought it was a pretty good amount of coverage, not just for one quartet, but for the entire chorus. And what makes this unique is that on this day, actually the day before this, on Friday, February 12th, we had a huge snowstorm here, bigger than what we've had in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in years. And schools closed and places closed. And the thing is that that's where a lot of our singing Valentines came from. So, and our bass, who's normally H.J. Schmidt, well, he was stuck in Florida, and I had to get immediately recruit somebody that I knew could sing bass. And so we got to, let's see, what's his name? I can't, okay, I can't remember his name. It's wait a minute. Clarence Reed, that's what I was trying to think of. Jesus, my mind went blank there. Okay. So that's one example of going to a source, or a source got word of what we were doing, and he got interested in it. Now, let me see if I can go back to the PowerPoint, because I have to stop share first. Okay, now we'll go back to the PowerPoint. Technology is wonderful when it works. Okay. Next thing is an article that we had about the district fall convention. All right. Now, I know this is a little bit clunky. I think I'll just stay out of the PowerPoint for now, just so I can show you all these these examples here, okay? Please bear with me for a moment.
While Rocky's pulling that up again, if anybody has any questions as we go along, you can feel free to type them into the chat that is linked at the bottom of your screen, and I'll queue those up. And when we get to the Q&A section at the end, we'll present those to Rocky if I can't answer them in the interim.
Okay, can you see this article title here now?
Barbershop singers promote harmony at regional competition.
Right, now, this was about, what year was it that we had the international in, let's see, Nashville?
Nashville was 2016.
Okay, so this was 2015 is when this article came out. It was the fall before that particular one. But how I got this in the paper was just through a simple press release to the Grapevine Convention and Visitors Bureau. And then this reporter here, Marty Sabota, that's a lady, she picked up on it and gave me a call. And I told her, well, yeah, this is what we got going on here. And she sent out a guy to take some pictures. He only took a few pictures, but anyway, here it is. This is about what we do at the regional competition. Gave a few facts about our society and what it goes on there. And I got my name mentioned in here several times, but and some of the vocal majority, but I was trying to tell her about the entire organization. And it was, once again, as you see, there's some pretty good column inches there. And that was just as a result of just sending a press release and as a normal point of what I do when I publicize the convention just to the Grapevine area there. All right, now I got one more thing I believe I want to show you. Okay. Okay, can you see this? Vocal majority performance garners 90,000.
Yes, we've got it.
Okay. Now, the VM had a performance down in Waco, and it's a really cool story here. I'm not going to make you read all of it, but basically, a friend of a friend, their young child died as a result of this MPS, and let's see, it's a disease that doesn't allow you to use sugar properly within your. Oh, here it is. It's mucopolysaccharidosis. Okay, missing an enzyme which is necessary to break down sugar molecules at the cellular level. And this fellow's daughter was 19 years old, and she finally succumbed to the disease, and she died. And a friend of ours, we have at the VM several people who come from Waco and even farther south, knew this fella and said, you know what, I want you to come with me, you and your wife, and I want to introduce you to a group of guys. Brought him to the chorus, and we sang May the Lord bless you and keep you to these people. And it just floored him. He joined the chorus and everything. And we heard about, not we, but somebody else heard about this MPS Society and how they had this yearly fundraiser. So they worked it into the performance schedule, and down we went and helped to raise $90,000 for these people. I thought, well, this would be a great article to write up. So I did this here. And then I sent it to the Harmonizer. So bear with me again. Now, first off, I want you to see how long this is. Okay, see how many different paragraphs this is. I mean, it's a little over, it's a little over a page. All right, now let me show you how it came out in the Harmonizer. We'll have music from Jeopardy in the background while I'm finding this. Well, I'm having trouble finding the finding the video thing. This is totally unrehearsed. Can y'all tell? Here we
And
go.
as a good suggestion, maybe we should pull up the Jeopardy music.
Yeah, really. I see somebody's done that. Well, where did it go? Okay. Can you see that? Vocal
Yeah,
majority.
vocal majority race 90K.
All right. So you see how they shortened it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, if that helps. Anyway, they took pretty much what I had written and they kind of shortened it. And there I am, my name in lights at the in the Harmonizer, which is kind of cool. All right, now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, now can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we got some examples.
All right, and then this bottom one here was a video that was done for the vocal majority on channel 11 here, but since you have no audio, it's kind of boring. Anyway, those are just some brief examples of how we've reached out to the media and gotten them to notice us around here. Okay, and that was the video I was going to show you. Okay, so for all of these things going on here, we have tools and resources that the Barbershop Harmony Society has to share with you. Now let me see if this brings that up where you can see it. All right, can you see this web page now, or are you still stuck on the PowerPoint?
Now we've got photos and videos.
Okay. These are things that are available directly from the Barbershop Harmony Society website. Okay, photos, videos. There's a whole bunch of them here. I mean, Flickr, they've just been adding them up there lately. Okay. There's videos that you can download off of YouTube, which are legal to use in your promotional efforts. And here's a photo gallery that kind of goes the gambit, you know, from the old to the new, and back to the old, et cetera, et cetera. Mixed place. So there's that quartet again. Okay, that's one place. And okay, once again, videos, and then let's go back. Once again, from the Barbershop Harmony Society website, we have these press kits that are about the society in itself. You know, just your general background and that sort of thing. This came in handy when I did that, or the lady Marty Sabota from the Star Telegram did the article about the convention. She wanted to know more about the society, and so I had these things ready to go just in case somebody called up. And that's what you want to have is a ready-made sort of an elevator pitch about your chorus or your quartet, what the event is and that sort of thing. Have it ready to go, and then have some broader background information too, and have that ready for them. And they can, if they need to stretch out some column inches or whatever, you've already given them some backfill information. And once again, doing the work for them. Okay. And then some other resources. This right here is a sample of things. And some of these things you might have to sign in for once you get to the website there. You might have to the BHS website. You might have to use your username and password to sign in for it. But for example, how to watch and judge, chapter pro form. Anyway, you see all this stuff here. Flyers and brochures, and he can tell you how to use them. There's some ready-made show flyer stuff that if you have somebody who's adept with graphics programs, they can fill in this information here. And once again, this is just, this is not your group. This is not your group. This is not your group. But just to promote, hey, here's an event coming up. Here's where we are, and then, get more specific as it gets closer. Guest night flyers, holiday shows. You can put in the comments there how many of you have actually used this kind of thing here. Let's see, what else have we got? How to give a, okay, now this is invaluable. Say you've got a quartet going out there and they're doing singing Valentines, okay? And a reporter or somebody approaches them and wants to talk to them about what they're doing. Okay, now they're on the spot and they have to be succinct in their speech and have a kind of a beginning, a middle, and an end of what they're doing. This particular video here gives you some tips on how to have a good interview. Now, of course, this is on TV. It's a little different, of course, if it's a newspaper reporter, because you can kind of edit things as you go along, you know what I'm saying? But when somebody's got a camera and it's right there in your face, you want to try to put your best foot forward and do it quickly. So this gives you an overall guide on what to do. Tell your quartet, I even hand them a little index card and say, if somebody comes up and they want to interview you, use these tips right here. Don't just blurt it out. Have your story organized so that we look actually as intelligent as we really are. Okay, and then there's some general free marketing resources there too. But this also I want to emphasize. When we had the seminar back in January, crisis communication, I was thinking, what kind of a crisis could there be with Barbershop? Yeah, well, guess what? I didn't know anything about COVID-19 and that sort of thing. And all of a sudden we're having to cancel this and cancel that. So your Southwestern District Board got together and said, okay, how are we going to address this? And I called these people and I said, look, if you guys are talking about this, you need to be sure you include your friendly marketing and PR guy so that we all craft the same kind of message and get it out there, okay? And then we checked back with Barbershop Harmony Society headquarters to make sure we're all kind of saying the same thing, okay? And I bet most choruses have put up on their websites or on their Facebook pages, here's how we're handling this for the next few days or the next few weeks. So yes, we did have a crisis come upon all of us that we all had to respond to. Okay, so let me leave you with this right here. Here's some personal resources for you. There's me. Y'all all pretty much know how to get in touch with me. Brian Lynch. I don't know if any of y'all have met him. He's a cool guy. And he and Holly. Holly is the person I met at the Leadership Summit. And this lady is sharp. She's been doing this for like 15 years. So she knows what she's talking about. Here's her website and everything here. So with that, I want to say thank you for joining us. And I'm going to stop sharing now. And if you have any questions or any discussion points, now's the time.
Guys, we didn't have any questions come through on the chat. So if you have a specific question you'd like to ask Rocky directly, go on ahead and unmute yourself and feel free.
Hey, Rocky, I just wanted to say very much I appreciate all of the points that were made. They were dead on. I have been a web editor for the last 15 years. I was copy editor for the Standard Times forever. I got slammed with press releases constantly.
Yeah.
And everything that you said, that was dead on. The better that you can write in AP style, the more or the less editing your press release will be when it comes up. Spell things correctly, very short, succinct sentences. Don't try to use flowery language or anything like that. But good stuff. But one point that I made in the chat, I'm going to tell everybody, Texas is never, ever abbreviated, period. unless you are addressing an envelope. Please don't do that. That's just my sticking point. When I see it, I cringe. You know, it's my copy editor thing. And if you ever say first annual, I will come to your house.
First annual.
Yeah, I will come to your house and shoot you. But anyway, great stuff, man. This is really good.
Thank
So
you
Ken,
very much.
let me ask you a question, Ken. As a former copy editor and being in the position that you were and receiving all the press releases that you did, was there anything that typically you noticed from a trend standpoint that caught your eye? In other words, if you saw this, you almost always read through it. It piqued your interest.
Absolutely. If it had to do with community interest, because we would get press releases from businesses, you know, saying, hey, we got a new thing on the, you know, that's coming out. Then we would have to make a news decision. Is this new technology, this new product, is it really news? Then that press release would go on. But if it's just saying, hey, we're great, we're over here, yeah, no. You really had to have some type of a community interest, community help type thing, human interest, events. We did all kinds of community events. Any of those would pretty much get good stuff. We did have right now I'm the director of digital media for KLST and KSAN. And for us, we get stuff for events all the time. Unless it has a really compelling human interest component to it, it just goes into the events calendar. You know, and so that's all you're going to do. You're not going to get it as a separate story. So the best thing that, you know, like telling the story of the little sick kid that has, you know, the syndrome.
Yeah.
That's going to get some play.
Yep.
So the more that you can do that, how am I touching a human body? You know, give me that angle to this. So not only are we doing a contest, not only are we doing a show, an event, this is why we're doing it, and this is what it means to the community. You know, we're reaching out and we're being a part of this community. I can guarantee you that is going to get some interest and get some time.
Yep. This is how we're serving you, and this is how we're entertaining.
What you're saying is that, Ken, what you're saying is, how do we tug heartstrings?
That's it, man. Oh, if you tug heartstrings, man, yeah. And you know, kissing your mom, that's great. I don't know that that's going to get front page or you know, so. But singing Valentine's is great. We had some great stories. I wish that we had a video camera. We went into our cancer treatment center here, and we sang to a lady, and her husband was there with her while she was getting her chemo treatments. And you know, that, man.
Well, speaking of that, Ken.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, whenever you know of a quartet or somebody that's going out in public, and not or maybe even the entire chorus, make sure somebody carries along a video camera and somebody that knows how to use it. You know, and what I mean by that is how to frame shots and that sort of thing. So and then have that ready and have it edited, you know, and send it to the reporter. And like you say, doing their work for them, or at least starting on it for them, that'll catch their attention too. Yeah.
Well, and of course, you have to obey the HIPAA laws. I mean, there's a number of things that if you're interacting with the community that you have to be aware of. You know, a lot of times, as long as you're upfront with your communications and they know ahead of time. I love the 3-week thing. That is the butter zone. You know, before that, and they're like, oh, that's right, you said that 6 weeks ago. Well, I've slept since then.
Yeah.
And you got to do better than, oh, it's tomorrow night. Well, I've made plans. You know, so 3 weeks is the butter zone. But yeah, as long as you're interacting with your community and with your community leaders, and they know what's going on, and the more that they know you and you develop that relationship, then when they see you coming, they're like, okay, this is good stuff. You know,
I have a story to that point.
Right over here.
I have a story to that point. My quartet once out doing singing Valentine's, and I listened to K-Love a lot. And this is K-Love is a oldie station up here, and for a while the famous Ron Chapman was the main DJ for it in the mornings. And I called him that morning. I said, hey, my quartet is going to go out and we're going to do this and such. And he said, you know, if you had told me 2 weeks ago, I would have made some room for you, but I can't fit you in there now. But I went ahead being brash. I called a couple of other stations, and they put us on live a couple of times, you know.
Nice.
So give it a try. But Ken's right. You gotta make sure they're prepared. Grease the skids, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hey,
and
Ron,
actually have a good story to tell.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about Barbershop. It touches lives. We have got a great story to tell.
Yeah, we do.
And we don't have to embellish it or anything else. You just go out and tell the story. The story stands on its own. And, it is what it is, and it's awesome.
Okay, Mike, what?
were you going to be able to get us that that PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
so we can have
I've
the
saved it.
reference?
It's kind of
Yeah.
a big file. It's like 22 meg. So I'll have
Oh.
to put it in a place where you can download it. I don't think I can send it over email, but I'll put it in
We'll
like a
do that.
Dropbox.
We will, after the presentation is over, we hope that we've got the recording taken care of here, that we'll be able to get this posted up onto YouTube. We'll also put the presentations as links at the bottom of the YouTube file to where you can download them directly from there. And then I'll also send a follow-up email so that you'll have access to all this information later on. You get that in your inbox, hopefully within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Thank you very
Nice.
much.
Guys, any other questions? Maybe things we didn't touch upon?
I just want to say one thing here. I posted something on Facebook a couple of days ago about if you have any stories to tell about how your chorus or quartet or whatever is able to reach out to anybody and kind of make their days better during these, the only term I can come up with is the days of isolation. If some stories come up about that, please send it through Facebook so we can get it out to the rest of the world and let them know how we're still keeping everyone in harmony. How's that for a cliche?
That's good. Hey, Rocky, does most of what you said go for radio stations too? I noticed you didn't touch on that much. It was mostly about video, but
I'm going to defer to Ken on that. What do you think?
Well, actually, I wish David was here. He's an actual radio engineer with the local radio stations here. If you do a video that has great audio track with it, then they can take that track and use that for the radio. Otherwise, your press release, read it. Or I don't know. It depends on the radio station.
Okay.
If you have somebody
That's
with
kinda
a
what I thought.
great, if you have a great radio voice like our bass does, he basically reads the press release and then sends the audio track out, and they use his voice. Otherwise, you can send the press release, and then their talent will read it and put together a little PSA, or their morning show. They'll tag it in that. But normally, if it's a morning show type thing, they're going to do just basically the event information. Unless you have a compelling human interest story, then they may ask for somebody to come into the radio station and do a little interview. So,
If I could touch on that real quick. My group went out a week before Valentine's Day to do promotions, and I reached out to, it was an iHeart Media station, and I reached out to them probably 3 weeks prior, and maybe a month prior, and it took a week to get a call back. And they had us go out, and we sang we did a recording there in the studio, and the way it was set up, and I don't know if this is everywhere, but there were 5 or 6 stations all in just one long hallway. So while we had an appointment for one station, we actually hit all of them. And we were on, 5 different stations just from hitting that one station intentionally.
Oh,
yeah, I would say that for most radios, and its media in general is merging. And so very, very seldom will you have a single radio station in a building. It's going to be a conglomerate, and they definitely use each other's content. So yeah, you do it for one, you're going to cover all of the Town Square Media and Foster Communications are our local ones, and each one of those have multiple radio stations in the same building. That's a great point.
Yeah, we ended up, we were scheduled for a country station. We ended up singing on a country station, an oldie station, a rock station, a something else station. So we hit it all.
Cool. Let me put a bug
Everybody in
ear.
harmony.
Let me put a bug in your ear for an event that's coming up. It's National Barbershop Quartet Day. I forget exactly. Is it April 14th?
I think it's the 19th.
19th?
I don't know.
It's next month. So this might be a good time to be pinging your local radio stations One time my quartet was able to appear on the radio station, and you can hear it on our website. We got in there and we talked about a show coming up. We talked about our quartet. We talked about the Barbershop Harmony Society, and we sang Zippity Doo Dah, and they were really impressed. So it's kind of fun. So, okay, what else? Any more comments?
Google says that that is actually April 11th this year. So
April 11th. Okay.
here we go.
One thing in my experience, and I'll just throw this out there, is when we do TV and radio and I go back and I listen to it or I watch the video or whatever, it's really microphone placement.
Yeah.
Especially when we go and
Yes.
crash the weather. I'm baritone,
Yes.
so I'm on the end and I'm going up, I'm pushing the weather guy out of the way. And when we start singing a song, man, it is all baritone and
Yeah.
that sounds like crap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I see
Yes.
Mike
I
laughing.
thought that was the best. No, really.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
The barely tones.
Baritone is melody, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, in that little clip from the Star Telegram where they did the video, they were wondering who to put the mic on for the camera, and we, said, "Oh, hey, he's singing the melody. Let's give it to him." And that was Doug. Of course, Doug has a big voice anyway. For those of y'all who know him, and it was relatively easy. But when you play back the audio, it kind of overdrove it a little bit. It's a little distorted, but it's okay. It's internet video. It's not going over the air.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good point.
Hey, before we go, Ken, will you send me your email address? I wanted to
Sure.
talk to you about something outside.
If they will
Hey, guys.
allow it, sometimes it's good to have the mic out front of the four guys like you were at a contest as opposed to on one person.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Hey, guys.
normally do the talking for the group, and when we did the radio, we found it best because they only had one live mic. We found it best to put the bass and lead right in front, and then of course tenor and baritones off on the side, so it wasn't so much really oddball harmony. Sounded better.
Oddball harmony, baritone. Right?
You're welcome.
Yay.
Well, all right.
Hey, guys.
It sounds like we're winding down here.
Good stuff, man. I appreciate this.
All right. I
Yes,
appreciate
Rocky,
y'all
thank you
joining
very
us
much.
too.
Thank you,
Rocky,
Rock.
we really appreciate your time. And guys, we'll just be watching your email. We'll be trying to get this recording out. Once I get it from Rocky and get it edited, we'll get it posted up onto the YouTube channel. And we'll send out the links so that you can have access to the PowerPoint that Rocky put together. And if you have any questions, feel free to follow up by email. Thanks for your time, everybody. Rocky, thanks for your presentation. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday.
Welcome. Enjoyed it. Thanks,
Goodbye.
guys.
Mhm.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.